Alright, y'all, we back on another video. And since it's Halloween today, this is being recorded right before all the Cup games. I wanted to, do about 6 teams that I know that I have some very, very dark times if a couple situations happen. And this is being recorded right before all the Cup games and stuff. So, we gonna hop right into this. First team I got is my Chicago Bulls. As a Chicago native, we got a little. It's hard to be optimistic with this team sometimes, and we feel like this might be a little too good to be true. Right now, they 4-0. They playing a lot of good basketball, but I will say that my first note here is that they're not been playing against a lot of good teams. I think one of the games was against the Kings, and I forgot the other game, but they're not great teams. Like we're playing against the Magic. Magic hasn't been playing great basketball recently, and I feel like our first challenge is coming up with New York. So we're gonna see what that like. I don't know if this is just gonna be like, all right, this is just what we're getting started out with because the schedule is treating us nice, and then it goes downhill as soon as we get into some competition. So I feel like that can be a bad situation for Chicago personally. And then two, since I feel like this has been a big thing ever since last year. Like I know it has been game winners technically that's been shot and hit in Chicago, but we don't have no closer. Also, we have no star. I feel like a lot of times we're, looking, like, all right, who's gonna step up to the plate? Because we have a lot. These past couple of games have been close, like at least like and within 6 points close. So like imagine, like I said, from the past point of having like when you got some teams that got a little bump and got a little more firepower, that's gonna be hard to come up against. So come up to the plate in them last couple of seconds when you feel me, that's not always gonna be one just through grit and coaching. I don't think that's just gonna be that, you feel me, but yeah, one thing I feel like that's gonna be a bad situation for if we can't find a way to close out games like properly. That's the best way to sum it down into the two sentences. But I love what the Bulls are doing over there. Well, over here, and I hope for the best this season. So on to the next team, we got the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are currently 4-2. They played a lot of good games. And I feel like the games that they lost still wasn't like horrible. It wasn't like, oh my god, like man, they look terrible. Um, and I feel like mainly their things that they're looking out for is just looking at, all right, they have an older core. They have Draymond, Jimmy, and Curry at the mantle, leading the helm of the squad for the most part. And everybody that I just named is over 35. And that's hard. You got Curry. He has been like, I won't say injury prone, but he has gotten a couple injuries over these past couple years. Jimmy hasn't been like injury prone, but he did have that one season where he sat out with the Heat, and you seen what happened to the Heat when he sat out. And also Draymond has never been injury prone, but he's not. Also, is like Draymond's Draymond. Like I wouldn't say like he's. Oh my God, they need Draymond so much, but also he is a core part of what makes that team Golden State. Like a lot of people don't understand that the things that he does is not going to be documented on the stat sheet, but he does create a lot of opportunities, and he has the experience, and he's been in that team that makes it mesh well, and that's what makes them so successful. And also, I feel like the rising stars, because I made a TikTok a little minute ago about the two timelines in Golden State, where they're struggling to bring their young bucks up to that point where, all right, now y'all can start rolling out the shots. But like B Pods and Kaminga, if they don't fully develop in what they need to do, or like step into the big boy shoes and like realize, all right, I'm already 4 or 5 years into my NBA career. Let me do something, or let me, become something. Kaminga, I feel like he has his strides, and like I feel like he has like a confidence issue. Like I don't know, like not even a confidence issue. I feel like he don't know his spot yet. And I don't know if that's just, with the change of the team so much and like him having to be placed in those positions where just 2 years ago, he was the second option. So yeah, it's interesting to see that for sure, for sure. Not 2 years ago. I think it was a year and a half ago. Like he was the second or third option or something like that. But yeah, with Golden State, I feel like those are the big things that they have to be wary of this season for sure. Milwaukee Bucks is the next one, and I just seen the Milwaukee game with the Knicks. I think that was on Wednesday night, and they look promising. It was a lot of times where I was seeing like I was complaining. I ain't gonna lie. I was acting like a casual. I didn't see the vision with Doc Rivers now, and they didn't have Giannis on the court for a lot of that game where I felt like he should have been on the court, and it was to a point where I thought he was on a minutes restriction or something. And I was looking like, nah, like they got it going on or something. Like why Giannis on the court? They need Giannis, and the whole time they was up, and I was like, man, like okay, like they actually can stay afloat. And with anything with the Bucks, their worst nightmare is anything that makes Giannis not included into that team. Whether that's injury, whether that's a trade, whether that's him being disinterested, anything. Like first of all, the trade rumors with the past off season of like, all right, like what moves is he gonna make because the Bucks is just not, they're not being competent with the moves that they're making to establish a good core around Giannis and keep him keep him around so he can actually do something with his prime. He has a chip. I will say that he has a chip. But I feel like they is a lot of moves that they missed, or like a lot of things that they mismanaged over these past couple of years that could have made Giannis in the Bucks situations way more like they could have been way more successful overall. And then another just every of course this is a horrible thing for the Bucks is Giannis getting injured, and I don't think Giannis will get injured this year. Giannis is a very healthy player 9 times out of 10, so yeah, I don't see that. All right, Lakers. Um, Lakers is interesting because they Luka just I think he plays tonight and he was just in for the new for the first 2 games, and then gets injured for a week, and we're already gone with LeBron. Like LeBron has been out he's gonna be out until what, November, like the second third week of November or something like that. So it's like the team was basically, it looked at like just like a random B squad. But AR stepped up to the mantle and really put the team on his back for the past couple games, and he's been proven why he deserves to be on that team. Why he deserves to be established as a big, well, not big three, but like in that trio. You feel me? So one first things first is Luca not coming back 100% from this injury. If he doesn't come back 100%, which I doubt. It's Luca. Like Luca is, he always been great. Whether he is playing injured or coming off an injury, like I don't think it's just gonna fade like that. And I feel like a very bad situation for them is still relying so much on LeBron. LeBron is 40 years old. He cannot continue to be the the head of the team. I know that's what Luca is there for, but even as a second option, a 40-year old as a second option, that's like saying, you feel me, over there in Minnesota, Mike Conley is the second option of being 36, 37. Like that's ridiculous. So I don't think that's That got to be one of the main things that they have to look out for. And then JJ Redick just not managing his assets well. Like it's a lot of times where I look at the games and I'm like, okay, can we establish some new rotations or, um, put some schemes out there to, you know, I don't know. Like I'm not a coach and I'm not, the most well versed in my X's and O's. But sometimes I be feeling like it's just lacking. I don't know if it's the atmosphere of that team or just, the effort in general. But sometimes I just be like, all right, like we need something different on this floor to, shake things up. And as a coach, I feel like sometimes he can be stubborn in his ways. That's what I would say. And then lastly, I have Philadelphia. Philadelphia has been playing great. They're 4-0 right now. They played against some decent teams for this season right now. And with the upcoming VJ Edgecombe playing phenomenal and really, just not even stepping up, like he's just in that role at this point. With Tyrese Maxey. And a couple things that would, hit hard for them in Philly is if VJ just all of a sudden stops, like, all right, this little streak or two, this little 1 week streak just stops, and he hits a wall, or he just, he can't produce anymore to the level that he's been doing. And I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know in the NBA. You never know. So just keeping my keeping my thoughts to myself. And I know he's gonna be successful, so I'm not even gonna be on no hate watch. And then I feel like another thing is either Tyrese or VJ being hit with the Philly curse of just being injured. Like you see, Jared McCain got injured at a practice or like a training or something. So it's like, and then you got Joel Embiid. He's pretty much injury prone for the rest of his career, and he can never do a back to back. So it's like we just hope that he doesn't get overworked or overused at this point and burn himself out, or burn his body out into a injury or something like that. And at this point, he's like superstar. Like he's playing superstar ball. Like he's playing superstar ball. Like he is like, I'm not gonna say it like this, but he's one of them. He alongside Joel Embiid, a franchise player for the Philadelphia 76ers. I will say that. So that's one of the couple, the two things that I'm on them about. And then, oh, not lastly, oh, I had one more. I forgot about Dallas. Dallas is 2-3. So seeing what Dallas being 2-3, with all the stuff that has been put on Cooper Flag, and then just coming back with this team with Anthony Davis already having like a little bit of trouble. And I think actually the man just got injured. The man just got injured. That boy is Charmin. That boy is baby soft. Oh my god. Anyway, I love AD though. I can't even say nothing. But like, yeah, it's already starting to commence. Like, they nightmares, they don't even sleep through them. They live them at this point. And if injuries continue to plague this team, you got Kyrie. I think Daniel Gafford is out. Derek Lively is out right now. It is so many injuries on this Mavericks team, and it's just I don't want them to just fall out of contention just because they're injured. I don't want them to have a Pelicans pull a Pelicans. So yeah, and then the second thing that I was saying that might haunt them a little bit is being so Jason Kidd has been playing this experiment with Cooper Flag running the one. And if this experiment doesn't go well, or he doesn't, come out of it on the other side, running the ball, gaining the experience that he needs so he can, become a better player, and just ultimately just, hinders the team and nothing comes out of it, that can be a lot on Cooper Flag, and then just the the state of that team in general. And I don't want them to just end up throwing this season away and say, "Oh yeah, we just using this year as a developing year for Cooper." So yeah, that's the thing I would say. And this is last. So this is the last thing. But it's a lot of other teams that have, a couple of things that they have knocking at their door. Boston Celtics. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to be worried about, and in this spooky time, it's only the start of the season, but you gotta understand that it's a long 82. Anything can happen, and you have to be aware, or at least open minded to the things that in the situations that might turn their nose up at you. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Make sure to look at my TikTok. I'm saying on Take Takes TikTok, and then you can like and subscribe here, and we'll catch y'all later.